Hello, and welcome to Wrestling with Poetry, Kalamazoo, Michigan's premier wrestling and poetry podcast. Today, the poet, Individual X. Also, I will tell you about the resistance fighter and communist wrestler, Werner Seelenbinder, and I will answer the question that I received. But first, Individual X. Individual X, aka Godzilla Manboy, is a featured wrestler in the Potawatomi, Michigan Backyard Wrestling League. His eternal rival is Mother Mayhem, with whom he has wrestled in an ongoing battle for the Potawatomi, Michigan Backyard World Wrestling Championship belt. Their next match will happen on April 8th. 2024. His poetry has been published in the Potawatomi Wrestling Times, where it has been nominated for a Pushcart Prize.
Oh yeah! You want it? You got it! Listen! This is called the Ballad of Individual X, aka Godzilla Manboy. I believe that the earth is flat, and that each of us has an individual sun that pays the weak in suicide and the strong in heat, oh yeah. I believe there is a weakness that begins in the hearts of men and bores its way into the substratum of an earth that never grows nothing, oh yeah. Unless the strong are watching, and the strong don't see nothing grow, and the sun don't see nothing grow, and the weak see things grow, but it don't matter. Little sprouts come up from the ground. They tickle the feet of the weak. Soon they got 'em tangling, can't even walk. They do their little math problems, oh yeah. They do their little English homework, their home economics. They do their regular economics. They can sit down, study hard, put your head in your lap, and kiss your ass goodbye, oh yeah. Mother Mayhem is coming for Godzilla Manboy, but she ain't ever gonna find him. He's on another planet, oh yeah. He's got his own earth to cook, got his own recipes. Godzilla Manboy will fold the weak, add butter, fold again. Just add earth, dirt, flowers, sunlight, bugs, birds, bees, fold again. Bake on high temperature 100 years. Mother Mayhem, you ain't gonna find me. I'll fold myself 100 times, oh yeah. I'll be light, flaky, puffed to the size of 1,000 suns. I'll explode with the light of 1,000 suns. Like the rich golden butter coming down. On you, Mother Mayhem, I might have been named in a lab, oh yeah, but I'm delicious. I live deliciously. Do you hear me, Mother Mayhem? You ain't never gonna catch me!
Thank you, Individual X. You are loved. The topic this week is Werner Seelenbinder, communist wrestler. This is the entire article from the publication Jacobin. It was written by Ingar Solti, Senior Research Fellow in Foreign Peace and Security Policy at the Rosa Luxemburg Foundation's Institute for Critical Social Analysis in Berlin. 75 years ago at around noon, on October 24th, 1944, Werner Seelenbinder was beheaded with an axe, a penalty for treason against the Nazi state. At the time, the former Olympic wrestler weighed just 132 pounds. He wrestled at about 200 pounds. After being arrested for resistance activities, he spent almost 3 years and faced weeks of torture in 9 camps. Seelenbinder's incredible life, filled with opposition to fascism and advocacy for the rights of working people, made him a national hero in East Germany. In the Federal Republic, however, his legacy was deliberately buried, a victim of Cold War anti-communism. Born in Poland in 1904, Seelenbinder grew up in Friedrichshain, a working-class neighborhood at the heart of Red Berlin. As a young worker in Friedrichshain, he witnessed the mass executions of revolutionary workers and soldiers during the March 1919 general strike. He experienced unemployment and hunger, but also working-class self-organization and resistance. Werner Seelenbinder's ultimate passion was sports. As a young man, he joined the working-class sports organizations created by the mass workers' parties and became a wrestler. In 1926, he went to the Soviet Union to participate in Spartakiad, the proletariat alternative to the Olympics. He was then part of a split in the German labor movement sports organizations, becoming part of the communist Rotsport. The division was reflected at other levels of organization, though the communists wielded little power in workplaces. In 1933, they and the Social Democrats succumbed to Nazism, having failed to organize the kind of joint strike action they had mounted in 1920. Faced with Adolf Hitler's victory, Seelenbinder wanted to go underground with other comrades in order to fight the Nazis. The party, however, convinced him to join a bourgeois sports club so that he could continue his work there. This was quite a success. In 1933, Seelenbinder became German wrestling champion, and during the public celebrations, he refused to give the Hitler salute. For this, he was taken to a concentration camp. After his release, however, he was readmitted to the German Wrestling Championship and again became a national champion in 1935. Against the will of the Nazi regime's Reichssportleitung, he was then allowed to go to Stockholm and participate in the preparation for the 1936 Olympic Games to be held in Berlin. After the crushing of the opposition parties and the introduction of anti-Semitic racial laws, the Nazis wanted to use the Games to present Germany as a clean and good country. Responding to this, Seelenbinder and the illegal Communist Party themselves hatched a plan centered on him receiving a medal. This would allow him to use the international live coverage and the interviews with the medalists to speak the truth about Germany's concentration camps and the persecution of communists, social democrats, trade unionists, and Jews, even if this meant his torture and death. Unfortunately, his plans fell through as Seelenbinder only came in 4th place. Seelenbinder then continued his anti-fascist work in the communist resistance to the Nazis. He became part of the Robert Uring resistance group, which had illegal communist cells in many factories throughout Berlin. On February 4th, 1942, the group was betrayed and Seelenbinder and many others were captured. Following his arrest, Seelenbinder was dragged through several Gestapo prisons and concentration camps. He was tortured for 8 days but resisted and did not speak. He was then taken to a labor camp in Berlin, where the communist doctor George Benjamin, Walter Benjamin's brother, was imprisoned. On the morning of his execution, Seelenbinder wrote his farewell letter to his family and his lover Friedel. Dear father, sibling, sister-in-law, and Friedel, the hour of farewell has come. During my imprisonment, I have endured probably everything a human being can go through. Disease, physical and emotional pain. I was spared nothing. I so much would have loved to cherish with you, my friends and sport comrades, the pleasures and joys that life after the war has to offer. The pleasures and joys I have now come to appreciate even more. After a terrible period of suffering, fate has now decided otherwise, and yet I know that I have found a place in your hearts and in the hearts of so many sports comrades where I will stay. This knowledge makes me proud and strong, and during my final hour, it will not find me weakened. Indeed, he was defiant to the last. From his prison cell, he allegedly yelled out to the other prisoners, Comrades, this is Seelenbinder. Today at noon, we will be executed. We have stayed strong. Hitler will be defeated. Let us welcome the Red Army. So, after the liberation from fascism, many East German streets and squares and one of the biggest public meeting halls were named after Seelenbinder. In 1992, the hall was torn down, and his name and memory were all but erased from many sites. The Cold War continued, and the West and anti-communism had triumphed. Yet it did not last, and Seelenbinder's name would be saved from oblivion. In 2004, the sports park in the West Berlin district of Neukölln, where he was trained for the Olympics, was renamed Werner Seelenbinder Sports Park, and in 2008, he was inducted into the German Sports Hall of Fame. In 2017, the Allende District Civil Society Organization in the East Berlin neighborhood of Köpenick renewed a memorial that had disappeared after unification. That article is on Jacobin.com. It's from 2019. Okay, now we have a letter. Dear Ish, I realize I have to get my questions in quick. Is April really the cruelest month? Signed, the wrestler called Spring of Deception. Well, Spring of Deception, a lot of messed up stuff has happened in April. These horrors include assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. That was April 4th, 1968. Also the assassination of Abraham Lincoln. That was April 14th, 1865. The Boston Marathon bombing. That was April 15th, 2013. The San Francisco earthquake was April 18th, 1906. The Oklahoma City bombing was April 19th in 1995. Columbine High School massacre, that was April 20th, 1999. Sinking of the RMS Titanic was April 14th and 15th in 1912. The Chernobyl disaster was April 26th, 1986. And the most biggest disaster, according to the web, is the Rwandan genocide, which began April 7th, 1994. Those are pretty bad. Then, of course, there's April Fool's Day, which reminds us that the whole thing, our shared consciousness, and all that it includes could be an elaborate hoax. So, is April the cruelest month? Let's just say yes. But I'm going to tell you what I tell myself. Focus on the donut, not the hole. Events. Independence Pro Wrestling will be at the Kalamazoo sports bar called Ruggers Up and Under for the event Blackout, and that will be April 14th. The location of Ruggers Up and Under is 711 West Michigan Avenue. That is, again, April 14th. The event starts at 6 p.m. and the doors open at 5 p.m. General admission is $20. Poetry event. Saturday, April 6th, Gail Griffin and Aaron Coleman will be reading at the Kalamazoo Book Art Center. That's April 6th, and the Book Art Center is located at 326th West Kalamazoo Avenue, and that event begins at 7 p.m., and it appears to be free. Thank you so much for listening. If you have a question that you want to get in, wrestlingwithpoetry@gmail.com. Thank you, Individual X. Thank you, Spring of Deception. And thank you, Werner Seelenbinder. Okay, my name is Ish Klein, and that is the episode for today.